milestones that you want to hit every time you open the door, I guess.
Yeah. It's a really good question. So most people would, I think the way most people will answer this question is kind of like a split the difference. It's like a little bit Goldilocks, like enough people to kind of have some people coming in, but not too many so that you get too many. It's kind of like any intermediate amount will do. And I think that's really wrong. I think there is in fact a correct answer, a quantitative, specific, correct answer to your question, which I will now try to give you. I can't actually give you the number because it depends on some variables, but I'll try to give you the variables too. The question is, how would you know if you were making the product better or worse? So how do you know if you're stuck in that god-awful situation I was talking about a minute ago, or in the better situation of making something people actually care about? Well, once you have a private beta of people actually using the product, then you know you're not in the situation of making something that 0 people want. But that's actually not the most common case. The most common case is I'm stuck in the land of the living dead. I am making the product marginally better, but not better enough to matter, and so I'm still screwed. So the answer is you need enough new people coming in every day that you can tell the difference between a good change and a bad change. Now, in order to do that, you have to know what's your underlying cycle time. In InView, we practice continuous deployment, so we could change the product multiple times a day, and so the daily report card was in fact a meaningful number. We would make the product way better every single day, and if after a couple weeks our conversion rates were exactly the same on each batch of new customers, think about what that means for a second. It's not like each batch of new customers calls up the previous batch. It's like, hey guys, how many of you bought the product? Oh, 1 out of 100? Okay, well, we'll do the same. Like, these are completely independent time-controlled trials. So what are the odds that they came up with the exact same number 10 days in a row by chance? Not very likely. Now, if you have a 1% conversion rate, you're getting 1 sale out of 100, and you have 100 people every day, that's a pretty good base. You can get what I believe are statistically significant results that tell you, hey, we're basically on track or not. The other part of the question we need to know is not just your underlying cycle time, but also what are the key metrics that really matter for your business. And this goes back to what I was talking about, the engine of growth concept. If you're selling something, it's about conversion rates, LTV, and cost to acquire a customer. But it sounded to me like you're in some kind of community-based, engagement-based business. I'm just guessing from the way you talked about it. So in that kind of business, this is something like eBay, like a cell phone company, like a cable company, something like World of Warcraft, where customers can't churn out even if they want to. I still pay for my damn World of Warcraft account. I haven't logged in years. Like, damned if my level 80 mage is going to die because I can't get it. It's like, can't quit, even though I want to. That's engagement. Okay, so if you have that kind of business, then the key metric is what I call the rate of compounding of growth. Because this is a business where you get all 3 engines of growth, and you can read about this in great detail in the book if you want. All 3 engines of growth fundamentally lead to hockey stick shaped growth when you achieve product market fit. They just do it through 3 different mechanisms. Each mechanism has different math that is associated with it, and for an engagement-based business, it's the math of the compounding interest table. If people can't leave, then it's like having a bank account where you earn, say, 5% interest, because you'll get a natural amount of new customers through word of mouth or through whatever nominal advertising you do, and then if nobody ever leaves, then that rate will compound because you get a little bit more word of mouth each time as it grows. Does that make sense? If your bank account suffered from attrition, there would be no compounding interest. And that's where people get upset when I'm in the Great Depression, right? It's like I put $1 in, I'd be very upset if I show up the next day and I have 60 cents left. Most businesses are not engagement retention businesses. 100% retention is very rare. It's for the Facebooks, the eBays, the World of Warcrafts. So in that kind of business, the rate of compounding is your natural word of mouth growth rate minus your attrition rate per period. And so if that nets out to positive territory, then your product will grow. The more positive, just like a compounding interest table, the more it will grow. So my guess is if we modeled your business like that right now, because you're sitting here and not busy with the cash register problem, we will discover that rate of growth is either slightly negative or close to 0. And so all you need to do is each period make that number a little bit better. And if it's getting, that number, my contention is that number is getting better, you're making progress. But that's not the end. Because you can still wind up in the land of the living dead if you're having a Zeno's paradox kind of problem, right? If you need, let's say you need that number to be 10% for your business model to work out and everything to be great. And right now it's 0%. You can still wind up in a situation where it goes 0%, 5%, 7.5%, 8.25%. I can't do the math on my fly. 9%, 9.1%, 5%, 9%, almost there, but never quite there. And of course, in real life, it's never increasing by half. What happens is it goes 0%, 2.5%. You're like, ooh, 2.5%, that's huge. That's a great big boost. And then it's 3.5%. You're like, that's still pretty good. And then it's 3.75%. You're like, well, at least it's still going up. And it's like 3.85%, 3.89%, 3.8. And I start to see reports from startups where like there's a lot of significant digits. Because we all know you're supposed to be up and to the right. Well, here's the curse. You could always be up and to the right in something. That actually doesn't matter. What matters is, are we up and to the right enough? And is that a result of the work that we're doing? So if the work that we're doing is causing those key numbers to trend towards our goal, as it says in our business plan, persevere, if not pivot. It's actually that simple.
Sweet. Thank you very much.
Oh. Is it even better than that?
No, it's not, but it's a follow-up. Is that what book
Alright.
talks about that map?
What's that?
Described. You just described.
Oh, this is my favorite question of all time. What book talks about that now? I hear there's this really great book coming out in September, on September 13th, that walks through this in great detail.
Amazon.
Please, I
Pre-order.
really appreciate those who have been willing to pre-order. You can just go to bit.ly/Lean Startup Book. It's very handy, easy to do. A lot of you have your laptops. And
Just 3 reviews each, or how many reviews?
Is it? Yeah. Ironically, at Amazon, you cannot, even if you've read the book, you're not allowed to review it until the day it comes out. So if you just happen to put on your calendar on September 13th, 2011, go to Amazon, review the book. You will be my best friend. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for being here. And
Thank
paying
you.
attention to this.
You know, I would change the timing of the book.
What's that?
I would change the timing of the book. Because the iPhone 5 is rumored to come out at the same time.
Oh, yeah?
And you're going to die in the noise.
That's okay. We will, luckily the Apple's release noise and the book publishing noise world don't actually have that much overlap. I mean, I wish. That would be a nice problem to have.
There's the startup noise though, right? That people love these gadget things.
I mean,
Anyways.
Apple's on the top of Hacker News every day. What are you going to do?
So
Yeah.
help yourselves to